That was a vicious beating. I picked Marina Rodriguez to win this one, but she beat her like she had bad intentions, man. That was a particularly violent performance. Michelle Waterson came out, and in the first 15 seconds, she gets a takedown in this fight. And it looked like she was going to come out and execute a wrestling heavy attack. I mean, look, we all know that that's Rodriguez's weak spot. But it didn't take Marina long. She got up about a minute and a half later without absorbing much damage at all. And that was all it took, man. Once she got to her feet, it was game over. She very quickly got into that clinch position and started doing some real damage. She's landing multiple knees. She's getting Michelle hurt. I mean, Rodriguez was so tall, so strong. She starts mixing in these elbows and she is just raining shots down on Waterson-Gomez. I mean, look at the way she's able to grab her wrists here. Just the control that gives you, and she just starts punishing her. I mean, this was a masterclass on damage. This fight could have easily been stopped in the first round. There was a lot of referees that would have called a halt to this one. These knees and these elbows in tight here. This is doing so much work. I mean, there were points during these exchanges where Waterson-Gomez appeared to be turning to the side. Like she is just offering no real defensive movements, just kind of flinching and covering up. She ate so much damage here. And she was just at a point where she just didn't have an answer in these moments. And that's something that you don't see much. That is really telling, particularly with a fighter that has as much experience as Michelle does. To just reach a point in the fight where you're just turning to the side, covering up, offering no real defensive movements, and the person in front of you is just on an onslaught. You see here, one of these shots just opened up a nasty cut. Interesting call by the ref. Interesting call. Calls the doctor in to look at this cut. There's only 26 seconds left in the round, and I mean, look, it was a nasty cut. It was off to the side of the eye. It was over the top, so it would have been bleeding in a little bit, but she was just so bloody, and she was just receiving such a beating here. I mean, it gave her a little bit of a break. Michelle Waterson, what a gamer, man, to continue to come back out, continue to fight during the middle of this onslaught, but maybe she would have made it to the end of the first round anyways. Nevertheless, we get to the second round. And even though she got a little bit of time in the corner, even though she got a little bit of time to recoup, I felt like we all knew how this one was going to end. I mean, after watching that first round, what kind of a game plan do you think Waterson-Gomez is going to be able to come out with to turn it around? I really just didn't see a possibility here. And lo and behold, it was more the same, man. Michelle comes out, she lands a couple right hands, but ultimately it was just more damage in the clinch, more punishing shots from Marina Rodriguez. And eventually we see this sequence where Waterson-Gomez goes for the takedown. She ends up on bottom, fully mounted, tries to roll to her stomach here, and she just starts eating a barrage of shots, and it doesn't take long. The ref jumps right in, calls it off. Just a halt to the action because the violence was too much, man. The beating that she was receiving was over the top. So dominant performance from Marina Rodriguez. Again, I called her to win this fight. I said that she was bigger, taller, stronger. She had superior striking. She would win a Muay Thai match or a kickboxing match, but this one here, this was something else. This was one of those performances that puts her on the map, solidifies her as one of the top in the division. Michael Bisping summed it up perfectly after this one. A stunning display of violence. So we gotta ask ourselves, after a performance like this, what do you think is gonna be next for Marina Rodriguez, right? We know that she had that loss against Amanda Lemos. What do you think is next for her? Where does she go? Who is she gonna fight next? And let's be honest with ourselves about Michelle Waterson-Gomez. Okay, we've been watching her for a while. She's a fan favorite. I like her as much as anybody. But at this point, she's 37 years old. She's lost 6 of her last 7. And this one here was particularly violent, right? This one here is the type that it's the type of beating that you do not want to see. You especially don't want to see an older fighter who's got a career of getting hit take punishment like this. So where does she go from here? Is this it? Does she hang up the gloves? Is it all over and done with? I mean, most fighters losing 6 of 7 fights will be getting cut by the UFC. I'm not necessarily saying that that's the route they're going. I highly doubt that that's the path they want to take. But if she herself as a fighter doesn't want to hang up the gloves at this point in her career, what's her management saying to her? What's her trainer saying to her? Is Dana White going to pull her to the side and say, hey, it's been a great one, but it's time to ride off in the sunset? Because we know that he does that with fighters. I mean, interesting to see what happens after this one. Let me know what you guys think.